Hi, boys and girls. This is Sally Morse. I'm a district math coach with Henrico County Public Schools. And for today's lesson, we're going to be exploring the basic fact strategies for multiplication and division called building up, which is for your times 6 facts, and building down, which is for your times 9 facts. Here I have a multiplication chart that shows both our times 6 facts and our times 9 facts. The build up, which is for times 6, and the build down strategy, which is for times 9, rely on partitioning and the distributive property. Partitioning a number involves writing the number as the sum of two parts. For instance, 6 equals 5 plus 1, or 9 equals 10 minus 1. The distributive property can then be applied. If I didn't know 6 times 7, but I know my 5s and 1s facts really well, I can figure out 6 times 7. I'm going to first think 5 times 7, which I know is 35, and then I'm going to add one more group of 7. 35 plus 7 equals 42. I'm going to show you a series of dot images over the next several slides, and I want for you to figure out how many dots there are. Ready? Let's begin. How many dots? How do you know? Here we see 4 rows with 5 dots in each row. 4 times 5 equals 20. I want you to keep this image in mind when you see the next slide, because you might be able to use it to help you find the next fact. Now how many dots? And how do you know? Now we see 4 rows with 6 dots in each row, which is 24. On the previous slide, we saw 4 times 5, and we knew that that was 20. And now we see 4 more dots. 20 plus 4 equals 24. So 4 times 6 equals 24, or 6 times 4 equals 24. Let's try another one. How many dots? How do you know? Here we see 5 rows with 8 dots in each row, which is 40 dots. Keep this image in mind as you see the next one. Now how many dots? How do you know? We see a total of 48 dots. Our first image showed 5 times 8, which we knew was 40, and then we saw one more row of 8 added. 40 plus 8 equals 48. 6 times 8 equals 48, or 8 times 6 equals 48. Here is an array model and a number line model showing 4 times 5 and showing 4 times 6. I want you to think about how these models are the same and how they are different. You might want to pause the video for a minute and jot down some ideas or share your ideas with someone nearby. These are all examples of the building up strategy for multiplication times 6. If we wanted to extend the strategy to larger numbers, like we see here, we can figure out still. Now I have 6 groups of 20, and which is 120. I think that 6 is 5 plus 1, so I separated this into 2 groups. On the left side, I see 5 times 20, which I know is 100, and right next to it, I see 1 times 20, which is 20. And I know that 100 plus 20 equals 120. Now we're going to explore the strategy using our times 10 facts to find our times 9 facts. So how many dots and how do you know? Here we see 20 dots. There are 2 rows with 10 dots in each row, and we know 2 times 10 equals 20. Pay attention to this slide as you look at the next one and see what's different. Now how many dots and how do you know? On the first slide, we saw 20 dots. We knew that 2 times 10 was 20, and now 2 of those dots have been removed to show 2 times 9. 2 times 9 equals 18, because I can think about 20 and taking away 2. 20 minus 2 equals 18. Let's try another one. How many dots? How do you know? Here we see 10 times 4, which equals 40. 10 times 4 is 40, and 4 times 10 is 40. Let's look at our next slide and see what's different. How many dots, and how do you know? Now, instead of having 10 groups of 4, we see 9 groups of 4. And we can visualize this by thinking 10 groups of 4 is 40, and I'm going to take away 1 group of 4, or 4. So 40 minus 4 equals 36, which is the same as 9 times 4, or 4 times 9. Here we can see both an array model and a number line model modeling 2 times 10 and 2 times 9. Just like you did previously, I want you to think about how are these models the same and how are they different. Go ahead and pause the video for a moment to jot down some ideas or share your ideas with someone. We can also extend the building down strategy like we did with the building up strategy. In this image, we see 20 times 4, and we also see 19 times 4. If I wanted to know what 19 times 4 was, that's really tricky to figure out in my head. But 20 times 4 is pretty easy to do in my head. I know 20 times 4 equals 80, and I'm going to take away 1 more group of 4. 80 minus 4 equals 76. That's the same as 19 times 4, or 4 times 19. So here's a game that you can play at home to practice your building up, which is your times 6 facts, and your building down, which is your times 9 facts. You will need a deck of cards, and you're going to want to remove the face cards. That means you don't want any jacks, queens, kings, or jokers if you have them. The ace is going to represent the number 1. So you're going to have your deck of cards for aces through tens, and then you also want to have a coin. Doesn't matter what the coin is, but I want the head side to stand for your times 6 facts, and your tail side will be times 9. You're also going to want to have a pencil and paper where you can list out your multiples of 6, and you can list out your multiples of 9, like you see on the slide. Remember, you use your 5 facts to build up to your 6 facts, and you use your 10s facts to build down to your 9s facts. Perhaps I drew the number 6 on out of my deck of cards, and I flipped my coin and also got a 6. I'm going to think 6 times 5 first. 6 times 5 I know is 30, and then I'm going to add 1 more group of 6. 30 plus 6 equals 36. So 6 times 6 equals 36. And I'm going to cross that number off of my game board. Perhaps on the next turn, I flip over a card and I flipped over a 3. And I took my coin and I tossed it up in the air and I got a tails. That means 9. So I'm going to do 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is not nearly as easy to do in my head as 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. I'm going to now build down from that. I'm going to take away a group of 3. 30 minus 3 equals 27. So 9 times 3 equals 27. And I'm going to cross that off of my game board. Keep playing until you've crossed off all the numbers of your game board. Have fun doing this game to practice your building up, your times 6, and your building down, your times 9 facts.